Hi everyone, I'm JP and I'm going to do another game development streaming update. This past month I've been working almost exclusively on Autobiographical Architecture, which is my autobiographical Doom mod made with the GZ Doom engine. And yeah, I've been thinking about how I'm going to talk about what I've been working on lately. I've been working almost exclusively on Autobio for about the past month. I've spent maybe like one day on place key stuff, just fixing up a few bugs. But other than that, I've been working on Autobio. I haven't actually built a huge amount compared to the last video that I did back in August of last year, I guess. I haven't built a whole bunch of new spaces. I think it probably has grown a pretty large amount. But what I have been doing a lot of is writing. Around the beginning of this year, around the time that I broke my elbow and was out for a month, I had some time to think. And I figured out how I wanted to restructure what I had been working on up to that point so that it was just more satisfying. I don't know of a better way to put it than that. Basically, like, I was thinking about the big picture of it and what I wanted to accomplish with it. Originally, I was intending to do a volume 1 and then leave a potential volume 2 and 3 for some theoretical later point, and then I decided no, I should just do all of it at once, even if it'll take a little longer, because that's just more of the story that I want to tell. So I've been doing that, and because I wanted so much of this to be a surprise, and I think it'll just have more impact if you see it when you're actually playing this thing, rather than just hearing me talk about it here. I don't want to get into too many specifics. I hope that doesn't make this video completely unsatisfying to watch, but if so, just give it a thumbs down or something. And thank you for watching and for your patience through this period of development. So one thing that I figured out was how I wanted to break the story that I was going to tell into smaller sections that I could you can already see the spaces that I've got built here in the level editor. There's already a lot of little things floating off in the void, but I was having trouble thinking about how all the different bits of the story fit together. And I think I figured out a way to do that just by dividing it into sections. One thing that I realized was that, and I made a little modification to my tools here, this little text file on the left here doesn't look like much. It's actually just a text file that lists other text files. And I modified my little tool that I think I talked about in the last video when I was talking about text nodes and environmentally embedded text. I split that out into, instead of my script just being one ever increasingly growing massive text file, I split it into multiple files, and I just modified my tool so that it stitches all of those together. And that made it surprisingly easier to think about the story in chunks. I mean, it seems really obvious in retrospect. But it also got me thinking, because when you can think about a larger project in chunks, that also lets you think about from a production standpoint, okay, what's the total amount of work that goes into this part of it? What's the total amount that goes into this other part? And that was really useful. That sort of, in addition to just overcoming some of the creative hurdles of the project, I feel like I'm now in a pretty good spot as far as my production mindset. Not that production mindset is that big of a deal when you're working solo, but you need to have some structure to hold yourself accountable to. And I feel like over the past month I got pretty good at doing that. So yeah, what else is there that I can talk about? I've built some new spaces. I don't want to talk about that. Yeah, what else? Let's see here. I added some little... yeah, actually, I don't even know if I want to talk about this. Yeah, yeah, I've got there's some items you can pick up, and there's I don't know, yeah, there's things happening. Man, this is a toughie. Yeah, so I don't know, maybe this can just be a short video. Maybe, because mainly what I wanted to talk about was, a few people have reached out to me, either in YouTube comments or whatever, asking hey, what's up with autobiographical architecture? And yeah, I just kind of wanted to put up a video talking about, at least just telling people that I was still working on it, and that, you know, I don't have an ETA yet. I don't know when this thing is going to be done. My goal right now is to really just get it, I think as I described it to a friend, get a skeleton that can of the whole thing that can stand on its own and hold a mace. That was my joke. And yeah, so I think I'm on my way towards getting that skeleton fully standing. But I think once I'm at that point, I'll have a much clearer idea of like how much work it'll take to get the rest of the way. And then, as happens in game development, it'll take longer than that probably, but you know, I'll be in the ballpark. And that's also like sort of a psychological turning point where you're just like, okay, it's just each day, wake up, you're not solving hard creative problems, you're just kind of like, you know, just get to work, make something in the editor, type out some writing or some code or whatever. One thing that I am considering is, I think in the last video I showed some of the little text node thingies, and previously those had been like little objects, and when you walk near them, they would display the text. And I'm thinking about making those use-based. If you have strong feelings about like walking up to things and using them versus just automatically using them when you get near them. I realize Doom did the latter, but this is sort of, you know, it's bridging the gap between a few different design legacies. Yeah, this is a tiny thing. I made some previously I was just using just the red and black checkered texture for portal surfaces and stuff, but I made a bunch of like temp. I made a bunch of temp textures just because I remembered Brendan Chung does that for all of his stuff. And yeah, this thing says sky. And yeah, that was part of going through and fixing a bunch of map editors, which is possibly one of the least glamorous things I've talked about in any of these videos that I've done. But yeah, yeah. What else do I want to talk about? Yeah, I've been building some spaces, looking at other old games besides Doom to pillage from. I've got some good moments for, you know, that I can wire into other parts of my life for that. But yeah, I think that's about all I've got for now. Yeah. But yeah, I think in answer to folks who are asking about how the project's doing and how I'm doing even, yeah, I'm doing way better, you know. I think in my last video update I talked about breaking my elbow at the beginning of this year, and that was rough. That was definitely kind of a setback. But yeah, I think I'm for the month of April I have been fully back and humming along. And yeah, I'm sure there'll be other tough parts of the project and parts where I'll have to like really stop and step back and think about stuff. But I don't know, I kind of proved to myself that I could bounce back from some setbacks at the beginning of this year, and that feels pretty good. So that gives me a lot more confidence that this can be a real thing and that I will finish it, and maybe it won't be, maybe it'll be good. So yeah, I think that's about all I've got for now. Thank you, as always, for watching, and thank you for your support. Thanks for the wonderful comments and stuff. Thanks to patrons on Patreon who have helped me keep going all this time. That definitely puts a real dent in my living expenses, and that makes it a lot more likely that I'm going to be able to finish this thing and to finish a bunch of other projects. So yeah. So yeah, thank you very much, and I hope you've had a good April, and next month I look forward to being able to show you a little bit more of what I've been working on. I'll figure out some choice scraps that will whet your appetite. But until then, I'll see you around. Have a good day.